Hey there, Foxy Gamers. Welcome back to the next episode of our Min-Max run. Let's see what the weather is going to do tomorrow. Thank goodness it's not going to rain because we're missing out on our chance to upgrade our watering can. As I said last episode, even if it is raining tomorrow, which it is not, we would not have been able to give Clint our watering can anyway, because then we would have a third day that we wouldn't have the watering can, since the Spring Festival is on the 13th. So, as it turns out, we just have bad luck all over, but that's okay. I mean, I still would have been alright with a rainy day, because then we wouldn't have had to spend as much time watering our crops. Even though we wouldn't have been able to upgrade our watering can, that would have been a nice relief for the one day, but alas. It would also be nice to have a rainy day so that we could go catch some catfish. I guess we're not doing too terribly right now. The fact that I have almost 10,000 gold, and it's only day 11, and we have not sold all of our produce, is pretty good. My goal for the 13th is just to have enough money for 100 strawberries, so that shouldn't be a problem. We have at least, well, let's see. We have 2 more days in the mines, basically. Not at least. We actually have 2 more days in the mines before we go to the festival. So in that case, I think I am going to go buy the bag upgrade from Pierre, just so that we don't have to go up the elevator and drop stuff off in our chest as much. It doesn't really take that much more game time to do that. It's just a little annoying. And I suppose it does take a tiny bit of game time. The thing I'm super worried about right now is actually running out of food. We're getting a little low on chubs since we haven't been fishing. We do still have parsnips, even though I really don't want to eat the parsnips. I will do it if we have to. It's probably going to be better to eat the parsnips than to waste time fishing instead of being in the mines so that we can get more chubs. It was brought to my attention that I should probably be selling the magma geodes instead of holding on to them for Clint to crack open, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Drop that off. Check our mail. Oh, 500 gold. Thanks, Dad. Trusty father, always sending us money. Whoops. I don't want to leave my chubs behind. Okay, I think that's all we're going to need to go down to the mines today. We might have to tap into our parsnips, but we've got plenty of those, so we don't need to bring anything else right now. Alright, let's go. Oops, got some more mail. Okay. Let's go get ourselves a backpack upgrade, and then head down to the mines. I do realize that I haven't done the community center yet, like as far as going to the wizard and unlocking that, and then turning in the spring bundle and all that. It's not going to be super important to do that right away, although I guess like I mentioned before, I do probably want to grab some those seeds to sell for some extra gold. We're not going to be getting our speed grow, so that part doesn't matter as much. I may save it for after the 13th. We'll see. It kind of depends on how much money we have tomorrow. I'm not really going to bother wasting my time at this point introducing myself to any of the villagers, because since patch 1.4 dropped, we can now actually interact with them at the community events, and we will get credit for meeting them, unlike in the olden days. I realized when I got to the mines that I was a huge stirp and forgot to bring along the stone that we had in our chest, so Fingers crossed that I don't find myself in desperate need for that today. But that is a big no-no. You should not do that. I decided it was probably better to not go back to the farm and get that, especially since for some reason I don't really find it to be much of a thing at getting the monster levels in the ice levels. I don't know if that's actually true, if that can or can't happen, but for me it really only seems to happen in the higher and lower levels. So yeah, if you know anything about that, by all means, share your information in the comments below, because I am not 100% sure. Who knows, maybe today I will be proven wrong and I will be sorry I said anything. I really don't like fighting ghosts with a low-level weapon, because once you hit them, they go really far away from you, and so if you stand around and wait for them to come to you, and that's like your main purpose is attacking them, you're gonna waste a lot of time. So I recommend hitting them once and then turning around and popping your rocks and just poking at them every time they come by. That's probably going to result in you getting some damage taken, because you're not always quite ready when they show up, but I think it's better than the alternative. They're super annoying. They can drop some really nice stuff though. I like it when they drop me some gold bars. We had really bad luck today with our first level, so I hope that's not a sign of what's to come for the rest of the day. I know it was really painful to see a little boss slime when I have such an awful weapon and I didn't kill it, but honestly, I was worried that it wasn't going to be worth it to take that out because I have such a terrible weapon, and there were a whole lot of enemies on that level. If there would have been like just that little boss slime, then maybe I would have attempted it in hopes that they were going to drop a better weapon for me. But since I managed to find the staircase pretty early on, I decided against it because it was already pretty late in the day and I wasn't having much success. Well guys, it ended up not being a good day. Not a good day at all for me down in the mines. I mean, I did get a few minerals and gems and stuff like that, and quite a bit of iron, but the problem is I only got 5 levels. That's really bad for this point, when I should probably be down to 80 by now so that I can start getting some gold ore. But like I said, I kind of put myself in a bind by forgetting my stone back at my base, or back at my farm rather. So yeah, that was a big mistake. Don't do that. I would highly advise against it. And that last level, I really wanted to kill all of those dust sprites, but there were just so many other things in the way of getting to them, and my weapon is so terrible that I was like, no, this isn't worth possibly passing out for. I know I could have waited a little longer before leaving the mines, but probably not too much longer. Also, I'm just basically really bad at getting back to my farm in time, so I didn't really want to risk that. This time I'm making sure to put my stone in my inventory before we even go to bed tonight. It's still a better deal to turn your regular quality forageables into the seeds and sell the seeds than it is to sell the forageables. If they're higher level though, then it's usually better to sell the forageables individually. So we did get an Omni Geode, and I was informed that those are the ones I probably don't want to sell in my bin, that they might be worth cracking open at Clint. So we're just going to hang on to that geode, And hopefully it was a somewhat decent day. Let's find out. Well, we got a couple levels in mining and combat. That's good. Hey, looky there. We made up for buying the bag yesterday. That's good news. Okay, that's really good news. Now the question is, do I want to buy more than 100 strawberries? I'm not really sure at this point. All right, Demetrius is here. And this time around, unlike my original min-max guides, we are going to choose the bats, because the bats will help us complete the Artisan Goods Community Center bundle, since we're probably not going to be growing fruit trees anytime soon. So I would recommend doing that. Also, once you have the required ingredients for your community center bundle, then you can turn those fruits into wine or jam, jelly jam, whichever it is. So this time we should have a long time to go in the mines today. Fingers crossed that I'm gonna make it to level 80. I don't know though. If you haven't gathered by now, I'm really bad at doing the mines. I'm not sure what my issue is. By all means, if you have any tips for me, please let me know. I try to follow my own advice, but it doesn't always seem to work for me. If you're good at using daggers, you can totally use the dagger that you get from level 60, but I really am not good at daggers. Honestly, since I'm terrible at video games, I basically stick to the sword all the time, because even if it's really crappy, I just manage to survive better with it. I know maces can be really powerful because there's like a little thing you can do with the special move that allows you to do like double damage, and that's really cool, but I find that when I use maces, I have a tendency to actually get knocked out, and I really hate getting knocked out, especially now that I have to like buy my items back. There was one time in a game that I got knocked out and I lost my obsidian blade, and I was like, no way. I didn't have enough money to buy it back. Also, I was just like, nope, I don't want to buy it back. It was mine. How dare you take this away from me? They pried it from my cold dead fingers, apparently. So yeah, whatever you do, just make sure you don't get knocked out in the mines. Passing out, while it's not the best, because you'll lose 10% of your gold, up to 1,000 gold. I think 1,000 gold is the max on that. Passing out in the mines, though, is still better than getting knocked out, in my opinion. So tomorrow, on the day of the festival, we're going to, of course, buy 100 strawberries, but I don't know that I'm going to plant them just yet. I have mixed feelings about this, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on this before I record that next episode. So, since I don't have my 20 speed grow, I could wait until... I forget. I said this in my original guide, but I have to look it up. I could wait until the 15th or the 16th to plant the strawberries, and I would still get the same amount of harvests for my strawberries as if I would have planted them on the 13th. But the thing is, I could go 2 more days of not planting them, or I could plant them and not water them, potentially, and then hope that I have enough sprinklers by the time... Oh, wait. No. I can't. I won't have the sprinklers because I won't have the level 6 farming. So, anyway, I could wait a couple days and get, like, some other crops to advance my farming level. Or if I plant them earlier, then I'll level up in farming to get the sprinklers, but I'll lose some time for a couple days of watering the strawberries instead of going down into the mine. So I'm not really sure. It might be basically a toss-up, but let me know your thoughts. What do you think about that? Should I plant all the strawberries on the 13th Or should I wait until the 15th to do it? Maybe there's something you can point out to me that I hadn't thought of yet. I'm looking at you, Bob. No pressure. I'm feeling pretty good about today. As long as we can get down to level 78 before midnight, we have enough stone that we can get down to 80. I don't like to do that if it's not a monster level, if I don't have to, but it is worth it to me to use my stone to get down to a elevator save point. If we don't get down to 78, then I should just quit. I'm breaking some of the crystals in hopes that maybe it'll give me some free refined quartz. It's not super common, so I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. But if it's kind of along my path, sometimes I like to break those. I'm not even going to try to find the staircase on level 79. Not worth it. Phew, well, at least we made it to level 80. We didn't get any gold, but like I said, we don't have level 6 farming anyway, so it's not super necessary to have it by tomorrow. But yeah, that was pretty successful, I feel. Not too shabby, considering yesterday we got a whole, 5 levels. So getting 15 levels today, I feel pretty good about that. I really don't know how some people manage to get 200 levels in the Skull Caverns in one day, though, so if you happen to know, please, by all means, share some tips with me on that. Give me all your secrets. Alright, we'll see what our success of the day was financially before calling it for this episode. Level 3 farming for 5. Okay, well we got 3 levels from the kale. That's pretty good. We are obviously going to go with tiller because animals just really aren't that lucrative. They're a lot of fun, but definitely not where I want to go with a min-max run or really any of my runs. Like even in my regular Stardew Valley playthroughs, I still like to go tiller. Now, level 5 mining, that's one that's a little more debatable. If you watched my last guide series, you'll remember that I recommended going with the miner profession because we were building so many kegs that it was hard for me to keep on top of our iron and copper, and so I felt it was extremely necessary to get the miner profession. However, if we do want to try to go for the Skull Caverns more this time, then geologist is definitely going to be the way to go because we'll get a lot more money from it that way. And if we're down in the Skull Caverns, we probably have enough copper, iron, and gold anyway, since so much of it drops there. So this time, I think I am going to go geologist. Fingers crossed that we don't find ourselves running short on everything else. So yeah, there we go. Not quite as lucrative as yesterday, but still not too shabby. And as I mentioned before, we already have enough gold for our 1,000 strawberries. It's just too bad we weren't able to upgrade our watering can because we had enough money for that too. Anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And until next time, stay foxy.